Welcome to the Aquarium of Rhodes. We're going to take a walk through the entire aquarium together. So buckle up, get your popcorn, and let's take a look at some interesting species that happen to be marine species. And we're going to take a look at a few of these plaques that give us so much information. Feel free to pause and look into these a little bit more. This is why I've included them into the video. So any, I suppose, person who has an interest in fish just for fun, or someone who's looking into deepening their knowledge about these organisms, this is the video for you. So yeah, this is going to be a fun trip around the whole aquarium. Take note that a lot of these fish are based in the Mediterranean, but if you look at the plaques that I display, often they'll tell you exactly where these animals are located, in what area, or where they came from. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time with these animals, you can find them while snorkeling or scuba diving, but definitely deeper than I think the shallows in most cases. Probably things like this, algae, you'll find nearer to the shore. But other situations with other animals, I would say you would find them a little bit deeper in most occasions. But yes, I'm going to let you enjoy this for a little bit. Here's a little music to introduce us to this entire first piece of the journey. Perfect. So this is just a lovely way to soften into the whole grand scheme of this aquarium. I hope you enjoyed that first piece. So right now we're looking at a beautiful starfish, and you can kind of see these anemones or types of tentacles that just float around it, almost encompassing the entire area. So these organisms are just fantastic to just look at and examine in their sort of natural habitat. Of course, they would be way cooler in their natural habitat. My opinion on aquariums, it's good for study, but probably not the best for long-term inhabitation of many of these species, or even some, I would say. Maybe catch and release would be better. But anyway, that is my opinion. Of course, let me know in the comments below what you think about aquariums or zoos, just general facilities that hold animals in general. So let us know what you think. And another thing to mention just on the sideline, I am going to be making some t-shirts with some marine animals on them. So if you are interested in something like that, they are all my personal designs since I am an artist. So take a look at my description below. Under my link tree, there'll be a link in that link for you to purchase your own. All right, but continuing onwards, each little window that we've been looking into has something different. Even though some of them might look the same, they definitely have different characteristics, colors, regions, purposes in the entire ecosystem. A little bit later on, we're going to look at trophic levels and what exactly that means for these animals. Just a brief summary of a trophic level. It's the feeding scheme of the hierarchy in the in this case the marine environment or ecosystem. So yes, of course, it gradually goes from small to biggest, and that's the cycle of life. This little guy is doing a beautiful dance for us. He or she, I'm not actually sure what it could be, but um, just quite an active animal in this case. Take note of inside of these tanks, you're seeing bubbles being bursted into the water. This is so that, of course, you're going to get some oxygen into the tank and some current, because in a natural habitat, there would definitely be a circulation of oxygen. Now, the oxygen in the water dilutes itself, and this is part of what animals need for a decent pH, and they also need oxygen as well. You don't really think you don't really think that they might need that, since they kind of breathe with water, but they do take traces of oxygen into their system, and that's good for them, just like it's good for us. So yes, it's a very interesting thing to look into, respiratory systems of these aquatic animals. Of course, mammals are slightly different in this case, because whales and dolphins, surprisingly, of course, they are mammals, but they need to take a breath in order to survive. So they're kind of like us in that sense. They're holding their breath underwater and have to surface after some time. Of course, they are very trained in this, so they can hold their breath for much longer than humans in most cases. But yeah, it's a very interesting thing overall. So far, I hope you guys have been enjoying the video. All of these different organisms, as I said before, are just so different, so vast. The knowledge about the organisms that exist today in the oceans is quite minimal. So you'll see throughout this video, we're going to really enjoy so many different kinds of species. So earlier on, we saw a starfish similar to this, but this one's got a different color. I don't know if you've noticed a difference. And he's quite spiky as well. So let's take a closer look. And a beautiful sea urchin. Take note, this is not the black one. It's the purple one. So there's two different colors that exist. Both are quite dangerous, of course. If you get one of those stuck in your foot, definitely seek emergency help if this happens in any case whilst diving or snorkeling. Don't just leave it in. I'm sure it would be very sore anyway. So, but anyway, look at this cute guy. He's so cute. Some might say these are the cockroaches of the ocean. Again, let us know what your opinion is of these creepy crawly creatures. All Right, but I'm gonna allow you to enjoy once again with a piece of music. So yes, enjoy. Right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that piece. It is absolutely phenomenal, just like this little guy's smile. Again, I'm not sure if it's a guy or a girl, but Anyway, they're really cute, really interesting, slow-moving fish. As we can see, we've got some information on it. Again, feel free to just pause and take a look into these a little bit deeper. I'm sorry if there is a bit of a light problem and you might not be able to read everything properly. Definitely let me know in the comments below if it's all okay. But here we have some lionfish. I must say, they're just so gorgeous and yet so dangerous, which makes them a mystery of the ocean. I believe this could be a coral, but if you happen to know what that is, do let us know in the comments. I'd be very interested. It could either be a coral or a type of a sponge, but I might be going out on a limb with that piece of information. So yeah, a very awesome tank indeed. And just to point out, the reason why I'm doing such a beautiful long walkthrough of this whole aquarium is so that you can kind of get a National Geographic feel to what this was like for me and my experience walking through this aquarium. It's just it's such a vast, there's so much information to be gained from places like this. Just like if you were to go to a history museum, or something of that nature, because yeah, you're just learning about interesting things, and some people dedicate their entire lives to these types of topics, which I must say this one is so cool. Marine biology has a beautiful umbrella of um, occupations that you can take up. You could be a field biologist, a researcher, perhaps even be someone who data collects, like a data scientist of some sorts in this particular field. But yeah, there are many, many, many ones that I have not mentioned. This fish that we're looking at is a grouper. He is, or she is, beautiful. They can get much bigger than that. And I believe that the size of a tank can definitely determine the size of the fish too. So maybe this is what could be hindering his growth or her growth. And yeah, it's a fish that you would probably find deep sea diving or deep sea fishing in this case. Some people do have this as, I suppose, their way of living or sport, or um, could be many different reasons for that too. But we should always be ocean conscious of how much we take from the ocean, of course, because the ocean gives us so much, right? We, as I said before, have livings based off these animals, whether we're fishing them or studying them or conserving them. Um, all three must be maintained in a way that we can still see these animals through into the next generations to come, because they just are like much more important than we realize. Um, Everything is really important, down to the animals, the biodiversity, the traffic levels, as we discussed before, because without a certain link in the chain, the whole link could come crashing, and it can be quite fragile if not taken into consideration as a sustainability project or maintenance conservation project. Yes, that's my 2 cents, my opinion on the whole matter of why it's important to just be conscious of what we do in everyday life, from when we brush our teeth and the water is running from the tap, switch off the tap, all of these little things, even our electricity and so on. But yeah, this is what I mean by everyday life. This one was quite cute. Boop boops. A really cute little fish. I just thought the name was quite cool and it stood out. Another really cool tank. Beautiful lighting, I must be honest. I really had fun looking at this one at the time. And yeah, I mean, even the reflections, beautiful pink, purple, I suppose. Um, and I must say, the way that this aquarium is designed is very magical, in my opinion, because it's like you're walking through a cave and you're immersed inside of a cave that has all these animals swimming around you. So yes, they do give it this natural feel, um, but in a way, it's also quite like unnatural. Of course. Depends on which side of the fence you sit on. I, for one, love the rocky walls. Yeah, they are by far my favorite thing about this place. Walking through here as a young child, um, I really thought this place was magical. Oh, he gets to give us a look into his breakfast. And I don't know if you noticed, but he had like a ring of teeth at the back of his throat. So this is a common a common trait with fish that would probably eat fish. So yeah, I'm not sure of the name, but I'm sure we've looked at the little plaque. And yeah, very awesome shot. He was almost yawning. All right, but once again, I'm gonna put on some music for this walkthrough. Yeah. So yes, here we are back at the commentary, and so This little guy has crazy looking tentacles, as you've been, of course, observing. But yeah, very interesting. Probably catches his food that way. So yeah, here we have somewhat of a crab creeping around in the back, probably hiding, or even in this shell could be, I think in this tank, if I remember correctly, we couldn't really find that crab. So yes, and here we have the octopus. I must say, one of my favorite animals because they're just so versatile and easy to just um, blend into their environment. They're extremely intelligent animals, um, very curious and often on their own. Little loners, as you can see, he's hiding in his hole, and unfortunately didn't come out. Spoiler alert! But we can just admire the very small bit that I did get from this particular time. And yeah, this octopus is just hanging out in his hole. So yeah, I wonder if he put that rock in front or if it was just naturally there, almost like a door to the cave. Perhaps it's a natural rock, naturally placed rock. Anyway, um, from here we're gonna find ourselves going into the second part of this aquarium. Of course, there are a few more animals to look at. Cute red starfishes hanging out, laid back. Probably gonna watch some TV later, kind of style. Um, a lot of these have so much character. Could almost be cartoons, in my opinion. So yes, lots of different names to look into. This is also why I made the video, because you could just get so much information from just looking at all these different species in the area. Of course, if you're a scientist um, who's interested in marine biology, this would probably be of use in the Mediterranean, area, just to know what's out there, what's creeping about in the depths below. So yes, okay, that would be it for the almost cave looking place. And here we have the trophic levels. This is what I was talking about earlier on. Phytoplankton would be at the bottom, zooplankton next. Here we have the others, and they just get bigger and bigger, and man is right on top. Because if you think of the highest trophic level, that's when you have no predators whatsoever. And so, of course, that's what puts everything else under us because we control a lot of the environment's outcome. This is one of my favorite walkthroughs or parts of the walkthrough because you have this beautiful painting as well as the actual animals, so you could see the size of them. They've been taxidermied. Please let me know if I'm wrong about that term, but yes, these would be the actual animals, just probably chemically manipulated to not rot, of course, and to stay in this intact form. This guy has an interesting expression, but just to show you the interesting nose of this animal, kind of reminds me of the beluga whale, which is kind of like a dolphin, or maybe I'm saying that wrong. Yes, a beluga dolphin. They can move their necks, but this guy has a really different nose. So they kind of remind me of the same shape. Okay, and so yes, these can be dangerous depending on the type you're dealing with. So a stingray would be dangerous, whereas a manta ray would be harmless, um, from what I remember. And yeah, these are just cute little fishies that we can appreciate in their long tank, awesome environments that they've got going for us to enjoy. So again, feel free to just press pause and read through these. I will allow you to enjoy this with another piece of music, as this is going to be a common theme throughout the video. Just take some breaks and for you to enjoy with some lovely classic. So I want you to imagine swimming next to one of these animals and being in their natural environment, and you're just sort of in sync, in harmony with these huge, majestic, dare I say, beasts. um, what a sight to behold! I believe. I think wherever these animals came from and originated from. Um, their design is impeccable and so appreciated. I must say, this is a personal passion. Marine biology and just life, biological life in general, is absolutely fantastic. Of course, everything comes with its pros and cons, because, these animals get sick. They could die from, all sorts of different things. And there are ways for us to also allow them to flourish. If anyone's ever watched a movie called Biome, you would for sure know exactly what I mean, because creating or trying to recreate something as natural as this natural ecosystem we have going on Earth, um, to recreate that, let's say on Mars, would be very difficult. Um, but looking at this map, just to bring our attention to this, this is the map of Rhodes, the island in which I was staying for at least 2 months. It is a phenomenal island. I'll keep saying this throughout. It's beautiful. It's got conservation projects going, and we're going to take a look at the different buttons, what they do. So right at the back, this is, oh, I must just double check. I think it's a conserved area. And yes, protected areas is the next one. And that just shows you which areas are protected. There's, of course, the aquarium and everything else. So some of these buttons didn't work, unfortunately. But yes, turtles are also quite common. As you can see, they have nesting spots on the east of the island. And yeah, both sides of the island are different, but so worth it to visit each coastline, as well as the north and the south points of this island. I believe right at the bottom of the island, which would be the southern tip, people do windsurfing, all sorts of crazy sports that, of course, attract tourists, and just fun to watch, of course, if you're not that type of person or has never tried it out before. I believe you can also get lessons. So shout out to the windsurfers out there. And yeah, continuing onwards, we're just going to wait in line here for a little bit. Of course, it was such a busy day. Lots of people. My mom and I had a lot of fun. Again, another map with these interesting little dots appearing. In a moment, we'll take a look at what they mean. Just below that, that was the little tank with the lionfish. Okay, so this is all Greek. Not all of it, but some of it is English. So I guess we can both enjoy, Greek speakers and English speakers. Lots of interesting information. And here we go. So this is the main pathways of alien species. So you can see that there's not many, of course. Invasive species can severely decrease the amount of biodiversity in certain areas. So just a quick example, because we're just going to be looking at some sponges and things with their names, of course. But so an example of biodiversity being attacked by invasive species is the cichlids in Lake Victoria in Zimbabwe. They introduced the Nile Perch, which is a big fish, and yes, that fish was eating up all the different species, the variant of species of cichlids, because there were about 500 different types of cichlids, and they radically reduced the amount because of that. So yes, it must be a thing for us to keep our eye on. And yeah, here they pickled some of these animals for preservation. And so, yeah, I'm just going to allow you guys to enjoy a last piece of interesting classic music. And so far, thank you for coming on this journey with me. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, see you soon.